What's up, everybody? Nate here from Out of the Basement, bringing you a brand new action figure review. Today, from Star Wars The Black Series, we are taking a look at Prince Xizor from Shadows of the Empire. This is the very first figure in a new subline here for Shadows of the Empire. There is a 2-pack that's currently coming out as well that has a Luke and Leia in it, and we also know Dash Rendar is coming at some point. So really cool to see Hasbro jumping in to some of this older, I guess technically EU stuff now. But here he is in all of his glory in the Galaxy packaging. We've got a really nice shot of him on the mural art here, which I love the purple. On the back of the package, we have a bio. If you want to pause it, go ahead and read it now. Like I mentioned, he is the first figure in the Shadows of the Empire subline. And we also have the barcode on the bottom. So let's not waste a whole lot of time here. We're going to take a look at his one and only accessory, and then we'll jump right into the figure. And like I mentioned, we do get one accessory here. This is Xizor's staff, and it just looks fantastic. The gold plastic, I think, translated pretty well. We get a good contrast with the purple plastic, and same thing down at the grip. And there's some really nice sculpted detail here down at the bottom. Always appreciate that. And it's cool to see a staff in the Black Series. We don't see too many accessories like this come with figures. Would have loved to got Moma's staff, but yeah, here we go. This is nice. So with that being said, let's go ahead and take a look at the figure. And here we are with Xizor on the rotating base, and he looks absolutely fantastic. I think Hasbro totally crushed this figure, and in my opinion, this is easily the best of the wave. And this figure turned out to be a pretty big surprise for me. I initially thought the legs were going to be some reuse, but we actually have a fully brand new figure here on our hands, and it's just really cool to see Hasbro going all out for classic EU characters like Xizor here. You can see on the base he's loaded up with sculpted details, some really nice paint work, and we have wonderful back details as well that just really take this figure to a whole different level, especially for something that's just a standard release. So let's get him off the stand and we'll take a closer look. And of course, we'll start things out with this wonderful head sculpt here with a great photoreal application. He even has some shading to accompany the face, and I think they just did a fantastic job. He looks very villainous, sinister, plotting, all the things that you would expect Xizor to be. So he's got just a slight, subtle expression on his face, and I really like how that turned out. Of course, he is a little shiny, but he's also an alien, so I guess, you know, you can kind of maybe just say, maybe those are his pheromones that's glistening off of his head. Taking a look at the back side, we do have the ponytails here, which have some really nice gold detailing to them. And like I mentioned, the spine here just looks fantastic. They did such a killer job on the sculpt. And I love the way the purple and gold on his outfit just have a wonderful contrast, especially up through here. And like I was mentioning, there's just some really fantastic sculpt work all throughout. Yes, Xizor can kind of be a traffic cone, although there are some cuts in the lower robe. But this is a prime example of why sculpted plastic can be so nice. And with soft goods, you could never pull off this level of texture detail here, at least at a mass retail figure. So this is definitely the move here. And it looks fantastic. I love the way that this is translated to the figure. The gold accents throughout just really glisten, especially with my studio lights. The belt has some really great details here. The arms have these gold bands on them. And he does also have some soft goods for the, I guess, arm sash thingies. So little mixed media here as well, which is pretty cool. I love to see it. They really, like I said, I can't stress it enough. They seriously went all out for the prince. Even down to the hands, we have some nice details with the painted nails. Yeah, the peg is purple, but I get why they did it. You know, it's so that when you're looking at it from this way, it blends in better, which makes sense to me. Paint doesn't really stick to joints very well, so, you know, I'm sure they were just kind of stuck between a rock and a hard place here. But maybe ball-jointed wrists could have solved that problem. And it's similar over here with the more expressive hand. You can see same level of detail, just incredible work. But once again, if you look at the arm through here, yeah, the joint is purple. Minor issue, but again, I don't really think they could have done anything else to prevent that, save for the ball jointed wrists, which would have been nice, but still, just pose them and you'll be fine. And like I mentioned earlier, I really thought these were going to be Farm Boy Luke's legs. They look very, very similar to them, but they are actually a different sculpt. So here they are side by side, and you can see they are seriously very similar, but Xizor's legs are a lot bigger, or a lot chunkier, so they're definitely sized up, and you can tell that the thigh sculpts are actually different too. So while they look very similar, actually a brand new sculpt. So love to see that. Big surprise. So yeah, I think it's safe to say detail-wise here, Hasbro absolutely killed it. I love everything that they did here. It all just looks so good. This is such a fantastic representation of the character. And they even loaded him up with some pretty cool articulation as well. So let's go ahead and take a look at that. Jumping in, we do have the double neck peg, so Xizor can look up pretty far, and he can look down a decent amount as well. He does also have 360 rotation, and of course plenty of side to side. And the cool thing here, we do have articulated ponytails, so these spin 360 degrees around, including the little one here, which is just such a cool little detail. So you can definitely, you know, have him blowing in the wind. It's a windy day. I love cool stuff like that, just little extra added points of articulation just to make things fun. Ooh, do we have a little bit of gold paint accidentally on the end of his ponytail there? These shoulders do move all the way up here, and they can rotate all the way around. Little stiff there, little mildly restrictive, although this is nice and soft. You just gotta move it carefully. We do have butterfly joints, which work pretty well. The single jointed elbow gets you just about 90 degrees, and you do have a swivel there. We have the vertical wrist hinge, which we already covered, so you get up and down and it moves around. The other arm is the horizontal hinge here. As far as the crunch goes, he can just go a little bit forward and just a little bit backwards, but we do have some side to side, and of course rotation. Like I mentioned, he is kind of a traffic cone, but the robes are split well enough so he can kick forward pretty much all the way. He can do the splits here, and there we go, thanks to the robe. Check that out. How dynamic can you go? Oh yeah, check that out. No thigh swivel, but just a little bit of movement there at the hip. The single jointed knee does go down and gives you just a little bit more than 90. We do have a swivel there. We also have boot swivel included, which is always cool to see. And then his feet do move all the way down, and they go up a decent amount, and he does have ankle pivot. Ooh, broke that free there. So for the most part, this is kind of the articulation you expect from a Black Series figure, but it is cool to see some nice updated points, like the ponytail and boot swivel. And hey, thanks to that plastic robe, he kind of actually works as a little bit of a kickstand for Xizor. So you could really help out with some dynamic posing there. And yeah, just, I can't stress enough. This figure just is blowing me away. These details are crazy. So finally, it's time for some comparisons. We'll start things off here with the Black Series Empire Strikes Back Darth Vader with an SH Figuarts cape on it. And we also have the archive release of Emperor Palpatine. Next up, we have the Bespin Escape Princess Leia and the Empire Strikes Back photoreal update of Lando. Next up, we have the Black Series Bespin Luke, but I swapped the head with Dagobah Luke. And we also have the recent Farm Boy 2025 update Luke. And lastly, for a little import action, we have Xizor here with the fantastic Mafex Empire Strikes Back Boba Fett. So without a doubt, it's absolutely safe to say that Hasbro killed it here with Prince Xizor. This is another prime example of them just randomly going so hard on like an alien or EU type character. this is definitely a situation where they clearly showed a lot of love for the character, and it's awesome to see. I love that they dedicated an entire brand new sculpt to a character like Prince Xizor. That makes me feel really good and happy, and honestly hopeful for the future of the line when it comes to representation for characters like Xizor. A lot of times in the past, they would end up just being sort of kind of accurate representations with a whole lot of reuse. So this is a great step in the right direction. Let's keep this energy up for Dash Rendar when we eventually see him. So yeah, I absolutely think this figure is awesome. Definitely one of the more cool and interesting aliens for the shelf. Also a very important part of the history of Star Wars, especially EU media. So this one I feel like is an essential pickup for any Star Wars fan. So there you have it. That was my review. Hopefully you enjoyed it. If you did, don't forget to leave a like. Subscribe if you are new. We're always talking about Star Wars The Black Series here on the channel. I'm Nate from Out of the Basement. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time.